soul of the city.
What is going on, St. Louis City soccer fans? Welcome to another episode of Soul of the City. Today is going to be a rather somber, maybe angry, maybe depressed episode of the pod, because last night, in terrible weather, in probably the latest start in St. Louis that we've seen all year, besides the game that we had almost a hurricane here, we got played off the park in a matter of 35, 45 minutes by our arch rivals, who we should have beaten 3 times this year and stomped twice at home this year, Sporting Kansas City. What do you guys have to say? Start us off.
I feel like I've seen a lot of reactions online ranging from, hey, give the boys a break. We're an expansion team. And the other side of the coin is like, wow, what an embarrassment. And I think it's probably a mixture of the two because, yeah, we are an expansion team, sure. And if this was honestly any other team, I probably wouldn't care as much. But the fact that you let Kansas City come here after we just beat them like 3 weeks ago, 4-1, and they come here and they beat us at home in the first game of the playoffs, like, it's just a little, like, I don't know, frustrating to watch.
The duality of man. That's how I feel. I mean, on one side, I don't think anybody could have expected us to be in this position to begin with. But here we are on the other side, you know, just because we were, I don't want to say overperforming our
Maybe that's what it was.
Season, but we're still the number 1 seed. We're still at home, you know, still had a 2-1 record against them. One of the one loss was a controversial one, but golly, that one last night sure was not controversial. They just thwacked us. And you took the words out of my mouth because it was really fucking embarrassing. Like, really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because once you play like that, you can't. Your fans got nothing to rally behind, and every goal that they scored after the first one was kind of just a knife to the heart.
Yeah. I remember you texting last night in, like, the midst of the game, and I think it was the "We're St. Louis City," that chant.
Who are you? Yeah.
Like, they were trying to get us to do that chant, and it's like,
down
dude, we're down
4-1.
4-1.
We
like,
know exactly who they are.
Who we
they
are
came
right
and
now.
showed us exactly who
Yeah.
they were to try to get us to chant. That was ridiculous.
I don't know. You got to get your fans. The problem is that the team just never looked up to it. Not for a moment in this game did we look like we were here to play. And we can start by looking at the formation. So, leading into this game, pretty poor run of form. 2 wins in our last 8, I think, is our record prior to this game. And we also just got kind of like resoundingly beat by the Seattle Sounders. I mean, we had opportunities in
the
that
game before that too.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah, we didn't score in October.
Yeah, and I mean, that's like
or win
terrible.
Yeah,
but we also come into this game changing the formation to the 4-2-3-1 that I think we ran the first time that Casey came to town, and Vasilev had 2 goals, Gio had a goal, and it looked horrible. I think that the press probably looked, and it has been looking, the worst that it has looked all year at probably the worst time of the year possible. But I don't know. What did you guys think of the formation change? And then we can get into some of the, I guess, questionable starters in this one.
I feel like it's hard to say that any formation change was not a good formation change because there's nothing in this past month to go off of saying, well, we were doing well with that one, so why'd we change? Yeah. You know, it's kind of just a shot in the dark. I don't know. Maybe it was working in practice. if we're just talking formation, I don't know.
Yeah.
It looked like no matter what formation we would have had last night,
it was not going to go
well.
well.
We weren't here to play, and
Yeah.
it's more the player choices for me. But talk formation.
That's kind of what I was going to say. Is I feel like Adeniran was feasting against Kansas City when we last played them.
All the times that we've played them.
Yeah.
That he has like touched the pitch.
Yeah. So him not being on the team, like right from the jump, I was like, man, what's the plan here? Like, okay, I get we have an extra midfielder, but that did not help us at all. Like when we were pressing Kansas City, they easily beat our press every single time.
Yeah.
Like I can think of maybe like twice that we actually won the ball back in their half with a high press.
And that's
And I feel like Adeniran's one of our best pressers too.
And
against a possession
if we're
side.
gonna end up dumping and chasing, Adeniran's
if
the
you're
best one to do that with. He's fast as
if you're
hell.
not in a good vein of form, the fastest player on your team up top is probably the one that you have to have in the team because you can just dump and chase.
And that's, I mean, I don't want to slate Carnell too much, but I just feel like after watching KC go scoreless against the Quakes,
San Jose, yeah.
it's not exactly like we would have known to come into this trying to be more defensive. I don't know. I feel the same way about Adeniran as I do about Gio. I would have loved to see just all the firepower brought game one. I mean, this is game one. The crowd's going to be electric.
Like go out there and get a resounding victory like we
need
have.
it. Yeah. Just shit on them. But instead, we start Vasilev and Stroud.
Yeah.
I just would have loved to see honestly, Adeniran, Gio, and Klaus. Just a goal-scoring mentality.
Yeah. I think that the thing that I took most issue with in this starting lineup is just I think there was like too much inexperience going on in this team. Like you have Vasilev playing a role that he probably hasn't played in 2 months, like more of an attacking position on like a right mid, right wing kind of role. And then you have AZ, who's never started a playoff game or any like meaningful game probably in his life, and Marcanic, who has probably never played a meaningful game in his life. And they looked it like AZ and Marcanic looked both like totally not up to like snuff at all in this game. I can remember vividly Marcanic giving away the ball and it like almost being a goal for Shallowy, which would have made it like 4-1, and then they ended up scoring the fourth.
And I don't think those are the only two guys that need to be singled out.
No, yeah. I just thought that they were too like.
Yeah, I get your point
put
about
more
the
experience in the team
for sure. And I think kind of even along that same vein. I mean, Stroud has been in the league for a couple of years, but he looked really, really poor.
Non-factor.
But I mean,
Really?
even worse than him.
Yes.
Even worse than him was Vasilev to me.
Yes.
Like every
Really?
time Vasilev got the ball, it looked like he would like try to like build up a head of steam, and then he would just like stop and like not know what to do.
Back pass.
Yeah, he
Or
would have to
lose the
turn
ball.
around, go to the sideline, and then pass it all the way back to Jake Nerwinski.
I think Stroud was better than Vasilev.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought
But-
Stroud was one of the better players on the pitch for us in terms of like energy and creating like chances.
Low bar.
Yes,
To be fair.
low bar, but
I
like
don't-
I thought it was better.
No,
than
I
that.
think
honestly-
the only time that Stroud should be playing for as long as he did last night is when the press is clearly working, because that's his role. You know,
We had too much of the ball for him to be in the game for that long.
Yeah. Well, and the press was just an absolute failure. But we can.
Yeah.
I mean, the game starts out and it's pretty like back and forth. I would say that Kansas City looked a little bit more dominant in the first 20-ish minutes. The first big chance of the game, I would say, is like the 20th minute where Stroud crosses it in from the right-hand side, and they like head it clear, and it's just like super high in the air, like lofted ball, and Vasilev just hits it first time, and it's probably the only like positive contribution he made all game, but it was a freaking whack from outside of the box. Just like with that top spin on it, disgusting hit, and I have to come after Klaus a little bit for this one because the closest person to the rebound that should have probably been a free goal because it's not a good rebound. It's slowly kind of rolling away from the goal. Klaus is on the opposite side of the box. And I get that it's hard to react to, but that's kind of our first chance of this game.
Yeah, I don't think you can really blame him though, just because he was probably just making the near post run from the initial cross.
Yeah.
I mean, there were other people in the box though too. I'm pretty sure
Tim Parker was in the box.
Yeah, was it off a corner or something? Because I think Nielsen and Parker were both in the box.
Yeah, it might have been.
So yeah, I think they were honestly the two closest to it. But yeah, just no one got to it in time, obviously.
Yeah, and that's our first meaningful chance at the game, and then of course, this is where basically the just insane level of finishing from Kansas City came into play. In the 27th minute, Pulido has a ball as he's driving towards the top of the 18, and Dembe is making a super late run off of that left back position that he plays for Kansas City, and absolutely no one is near him. Nerwinski's ball watching. Nielsen and Parker are all ball watching. They're just trying to block any opportunities from Pulido, and he has time to just take a touch out in front of him and just lash one into the side netting, and there is nothing we can do about that.
Yep, he absolutely banged that, and yeah, the initial chance had a .06 xG.
Yeah,
and I was looking at all of so they had 3 outside of the box goals, which, to give us credit, if those are the only chances we're giving up, that's pretty much all you can ask from your defense, I think, is long-range efforts.
Yeah.
Because those are low-quality chances, and, .06 xG, that goes in 6% of the time. But all 3 of their goals that were outside of the box totaled .2 xG, which is just
total?
You have 3 goals from 20% of 1 goal.
Yeah.
I'd say the more worrying fact about them was that they all came from defensive mistakes. I mean,
yeah,
it just felt like every single time we had a moment where you're okay, we can handle this because we've done it all season. They just didn't. Every time, balls coming into the box when they should have been heading them out of the box. I can't count how many they either just missed or just they grazed it and it went into the box.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted. Or just when they could clear the fucking ball. I think it was Blom in the box that should have just cleared the fucking ball and he passed it, and that caused the goal, right? Instantly. It was just crazy. I feel like a positive side of it is we can't be that bad again. Everything that went wrong could have
did go
wrong.
I was gonna say,
you know,
too.
The effort levels were so low, and then to echo that, just clearing so many opportunities that were second or third opportunities that so in the 28th minute, Vasilev plays in a corner that AZ flicks on. We get a goal back from Tim Parker, who I think is our biggest game player, if I'm being honest, and we can talk about him a little more. But I want to keep talking about this. That's when we should be getting a hold of the game. We should have the momentum, and we let them come down in the 30th minute, and that's the goal where Voltaire is taking the 4th shot in a row that we have failed to clear because it's either Blom who doesn't kick it far enough, or Berkey who mishandles it and has to kick save it because it's a deflection or something because the block isn't good enough. It's just defensive lapses that were terrible and led to just opportunity after opportunity.
It just felt like the whole team was thinking about how big of a game this is, to the point that when it came time to do their fucking job, they just couldn't. Even Berkey was, I just don't get it.
No, I don't think.
At one point, he kicked the ball out onto the sideline, for no reason.
Maybe his I don't think he can be blamed for any of the goals that we scored.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, questionable decisions add up. Like, letting them stay in your half when you could just
get rid of the
get
ball.
rid of the ball. I mean, it's like, why did it look like we were trying to play the possession game out of the back when we all know that that's not our game?
Hoof it up the field to Klaus.
Especially when you can't string passes together.
Yeah.
And
that was the other thing for sure. So we had all the defensive errors that could possibly be made in a game. And then on the other end, we couldn't connect more than 3 passes together.
Yeah, if that, man. It was just bad.
And normally you see like Leuven taking control there and
he was fucking horrendous. That was the worst I have ever seen him play.
Yeah.
Like, so bad.
That was the first time I saw him get subbed off, and I was like, man, good sub.
And it's like not like I don't like everybody played bad. Not a single person in that team can go home and be like, nah, it wasn't me tonight. Like, everybody was bad. But it's just so surprising to see him have such a poor performance. Could not get into the game at all in like any meaningful way. And I don't know. We don't got to keep talking about it because I want to get back into like the game itself. Tim Parker scores, goes and does the Mbappe celebration. I loved that. I will say that. That was dope.
I thought that was our moment to
Turning
get back
point.
in.
Yes, absolutely. And then
everybody did.
right after that, the press is like actually working. We win the ball back like right at half. Blom gets it, tries to play a lofted ball, which is in the end a terrible ball, and they just fail to clear it. I think it ends up back with AZ. Ends up back with Shroud. Shroud passes it into AZ, and Klaus and AZ are like literally standing on top of each other, which speaks more to like the communication and just nothing was going right. But ball ends up with Klaus, and he takes a touch outside and like lashes one at the goal low and hard, but Emilia's just gobbles it up. And that was probably the last positive thing that we did all game until like the 70-something minute.
When Celio came on.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
39th minute or 36th minute, sorry. And I don't know why, like, the commentators were right about this. Gadi Kinda was lights out yesterday. He was absolutely amazing. But he had like 1 goal in 14 games for them recently. And they were like, he's the one that's going to step up tonight. And I'm like, what? If he has 1 goal in 14 games, how is he the one that's going to like step up and be the best player? But
Damn,
of course,
he did.
yeah. But he tries to shoot near the 18, gets it blocked, falls to Pulido, who dribbles toward the byline, lays one back. Blom clears it on the ground, and it hits. It goes back to Gadi Kinda. His shot's whiffed, or it like deflects. It's not a great shot. It's just like not powerful, and it hits off Tim Parker. Goes into Berkey. Berkey kick saves. It goes out to Shallowy, who takes a bad touch, and then it falls to Voltaire, and then Voltaire just takes 1 touch and has time and space in our box to just like hit one. And it's like, if you watch that, it's like a bad FIFA like moment where you just like can't touch the ball. Even if you tried to, you would not be able to get to the ball.
I mean, like, it's like how long it took you to explain that is like how long the ball was in the box.
It was like watching kids play.
And it's crazy because, like, what are our defenders doing? They're just standing there watching the ball bounce around all around them. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, we already went on the rant of not being able to clear the ball, so I don't know if we have to, like, expand on it anymore.
But Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah, seriously. So 2-1 at that point?
Yeah, 2-1 at that point, and then 4 minutes later, they have a goal kick, and in the post-game interview, Berkey was talking about this one a lot. I think he was rather pissed off about this.
I would be too.
They have a goal kick that Shelton might or might have a handball. I think that if we want to get the VAR discussion out of the way first, I think no matter what happens there, the ref has to go to the monitor and look at that. I don't want whoever is behind the machine, like sitting there watching it, making the decision. It should be the on-field referee making that decision because he's making every other decision. Now that that's out of the way, Leuven doesn't tackle the dude that Gadi Kinda. He makes like a half-ass challenge, and then he just dribbles straight through 3 of our players and bangs one from 25 yards out. Just absolutely places it into the goal.
And coming from the crowd, I was yelling it too. It was embarrassing how many times I heard and yelled, "Play to the fucking whistle. Play to the whistle." Why did everybody stop? Like, just because you think it's a handball does not mean the play's over. The play's not dead. Like, play to the whistle. We're in a playoff game.
Yeah.
You're professionals.
I mean, that's like the first thing that you learn when you're a kid.
And that wasn't the only time we didn't play to the whistle. Like,
No, yeah.
it's shocking. It was infuriating, dude. Like, especially when it's something that, just based on the eye test, that was not a clear and obvious handball. Like, that could have easily been right here for all you know. Like, you cannot be that certain that it hit the arm that you just stop playing.
And I think that's why they didn't call it, because it wasn't clear and obvious.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't like that either. Like, it's not whether or not it's a clear and obvious error. Like, if it's like questionable, let's get the right call. Just send the guy to the monitor.
The ref
and if
should
he's
have gone
like,
to the monitor, it's a playoff game. The ref should be going to the monitor.
Why
for
do you have
any
the
goal? If there's a goal involved, you should be going to the monitor.
absolutely.
Don't even get me, dude. People, that ref was horrendous. In my
he was
opinion.
really bad.
Like, horrendous. It felt like we were in KC again. Like, every single possible play that could have been a turning point or like a momentum builder, this man called it a foul. Like when Blom was dribbling the ball and lowered the shoulder and he kind of slipped and then he kept the ball and kept running.
Mm-hmm.
The dude stopped the play and gave him a yellow card.
yeah. That
I
yellow
was
card.
flabbergasted. Like this, I've never heard at City Park "Ref, you suck" chanted more times than last night, and I'm not kidding. It was every 10 minutes.
Get some Clarkson eye cares going. I'm sure that didn't help our case of getting a little bit of home field advantage.
I feel like we held it back as many times, but it
As
just
possible,
became a
and then it was
pattern.
just,
Like, the dude legitimately looked paid. I'm not gonna lie. And
He looks like an avatar.
he looks like a fucking idiot. I could not believe it. Like, everything that could have gone against us went against us, including our own ability.
Do you think that if there was a more fair ref, that the game score would have been different?
Yes, 100%. Like,
I don't think
the
result would be different.
I don't know if
think so
the
either.
result would be different, but
I think they
how
still beat the shit out of
many
us.
different times he absolutely deflated the team after a little bit of buildup was coming. Like, it's not just the team that's getting deflated. Every time that that the ref decides that they're the most important part of the game, the crowd gets just the air sucked out of them. It was awful. Like, there wasn't enough time in between this dude's horrible calls for the crowd to get into it.
So
It was the ref show. I was flabbergasted.
well, it was the Sporting KC show, but
Yeah.
the ref definitely made a cameo appearance on a couple songs. Halftime.
Fuck, the game's not over yet.
Game's not over yet is what we should have been saying. But the first question I have, how are we not making a halftime substitution? How do you let in 3 goals in the first half and send the same 11 guys back out there to just run it back?
With the same game plan.
Yeah.
Run it back.
That's 100% on Carnell. And the commentators made the point, like, aggregate isn't a factor in this.
It doesn't matter.
So there's absolutely zero incentive to play defensive at all. Like, if we lose this game, it doesn't matter. We just have to win 2 more.
Yeah.
But
Adeniran, Celio,
literally
Gio,
sub on
every
5
single
attackers.
attacker that we have on the bench should be on the field instantly. Like, anyone you think is having a poor game, AZ coming out, Gio in. Like, everybody just needed to be like all out attack and hope that Timmy and Nielsen could like mop it up in the back.
Yeah, too bad we couldn't get the ball out of our own half.
Yeah, I mean,
Legitimately.
even after we made the subs, it was more of the same. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
looked like from everyone. No one could string passes together. No one could press.
Oh.
It was just horrible.
A big difference, too, was that KC was taking those audacious shots, and they scored them. How many times did they have the opportunity to take a rip, but they would either pass it back, or I just can't even think of how many times we decided to pass it back
Yeah.
and recycle it.
I mean, the two shots that we had, the Klaus, the Vasilev,
Klaus at the end.
and AZ had a shot too that
Which
was
was
way
horrible.
wide.
Yeah.
But those were all long shots, and it's like we did take some shots, but like they were all terrible.
But
Yeah.
when you're down 3-1 at half, it's
Yeah,
like
it's true. You
just
gotta
do whatever.
Get
you
out there and
can.
bang one.
Yeah,
like,
or just
get some life back
get a
into the team.
rebound. You
yeah,
know,
get a deflected shot is better than losing the ball without taking a shot.
it's like we had no identity, and that's the other thing is like Carnell. We're talking about halftime. Carnell's mistakes of not changing the game plan or the personnel before. I don't know what the game plan was. Was there a game plan? I really don't know. Like,
It was definitely to high press because that got beat like that
and as
every
soon
single
as
time.
you see that that's not working, you have to change it. This isn't.
yeah,
We're not in high school, dog. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't work.
I think
Speaking more of it didn't working, 52nd minute, Marcanic plays the ball to Sporting Kansas City.
Nobody.
Just passes it straight to him in our half. And Shelton just runs it down the line all the way to the goal line, draws it back to Shallowy, who should absolutely score a one-time like finish, takes a bad touch, which he shouldn't take a touch in the first place, and Berkey saves the shot that should have been 4-1. So he kept us in the game there. That was a big save. Got to give him props for that.
didn't he
I
have a
don't know.
double save or maybe not?
That might have been later on. He definitely, I don't know. That was just the moment where I'm like, dude, Marcanic cannot see this field like right now. This is too high stakes for him
Yeah.
to like be in this
It
moment.
was like they were all having a simultaneous panic attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime they saw the
Legitimately.
ball, like it was just everybody was Nerwinski when they got the ball.
And don't even get me started on that, man.
And then we can get the rest of the game out of the way pretty quickly because it's not really that interesting. But 61st minute, they take a corner, and this is like we have probably been the best set piece team in the league all year. We've scored the most goals from it, and I don't know if we've conceded the least.
They
but
showed
we've-
a stat. It said we've conceded second least. tied
second
with
least
someone
and
else.
scored the most. So I would say we're the best at set pieces in the league. And they run like probably the oldest set piece in the book where you have a guy run near post, flick it on to the guy running far post. And Klaus isn't there to meet Pulido at the near post, and Leuven is quite literally like taking a nap in the
Yep.
box.
Slumbering.
And just like stands there as Shallowy puts in the fourth and final goal. That made me turn the game off almost. So 61st minute, we're down 4-1. Now we finally make some substitutions. You see Celio come on. You see Adeniran come on.
Celio looked good.
He did.
Celio
He
did look
was
good.
like the first breath of fresh air that entire game.
Yeah.
He literally instantly came on and was taking people on.
It's
and
crazy.
getting up the field.
It's crazy because like I feel like Kansas City did a pretty good job at like when we had possession, just kind of dropping back and not letting us get anywhere. And like I said it before, Vasilev, like he would look to try and do something, but he couldn't. He would always pass it back. Celio was able to get past that.
Yeah, you
Like-
have to be able to like dribble out of the press. And usually Blom and Leuven are probably two of the best players in the league to like receive the ball, turn, beat a man with
Yep.
just like a simple dribble.
Yep.
And you just saw absolutely none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 72nd minute. This is the long range chance by Klaus, which was actually a really good hit, but
Yeah.
like he spins a guy near the top of the 18 and just turns and rips one at the goal, and Melia does pretty well with the save to kind of get it away because Nerwinski isn't able to handle it, And then the final noteworthy opportunity of the game is the 92nd minute where Celio plays a delicious little ball
Oh my God.
into the 6-yard box, and we can't even get like a consolation prize because Klaus
Shoots
heads
at the
it
keeper.
directly into the middle of the goal. And that's game. That's 4-1. That's St. Louis City's first home playoff game in 30-degree rain, and all we did was embarrass ourselves and disappoint our fans.
You know what?
Yes.
Other than them trying to get us to chant,
Who are you?
"Who are you?" was it was probably the 75th minute. The surround sound and the TV go, "Another sold out game."
Yeah.
Thank you for your money.
Oh.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Seriously? Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Congratulations on another sold-out game. Thank you, St. Louis. Fuck you.
I mean, I just feel bad because I know quite a few of our friends and some of us are going to go to this Kansas City game.
In
And,
Kansas City.
No shot I'm going to that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, that should have been the game where, like, we can go there, beat them in their house, and, like, prove that we're the better team and, like,
Now
go
we're on
on
the
to the
back
next
foot.
round of the playoffs. And now we have to go there to save our lives.
Yeah.
And, I mean, hopefully, because I'm not going,
They'll do
we'll
well.
get a win because we've never won an away match that I've been at.
You're just a little stitious, are you?
Very super.
Superstitious.
And hopefully, I pray to God that something knocked something in these players' senses. Because, first of all, that was embarrassing for you.
As a
For
player.
you as a player,
Absolutely.
as a team. Two, that was embarrassing for your fans that spent hundreds of dollars to come see you play at 9 o'clock on a fucking Sunday
For the city.
9:30
at
on a Sunday.
40-degree weather with a
Raining.
downpour.
It was disgusting
What-
out. There were
you-
tickets for $20 at kickoff, and I was like, I think I will watch at home. Sorry.
I wish you didn't tell me that.
Like,
This was literally supposed to be a trouncing. Like,
yes, it
The other way.
oh
well, and
yeah,
like-
it was a trouncing. I forgot.
Yeah, it was absolutely a trouncing. We got demolished.
But yeah,
Um,
I mean, at some point, not at some point, right now, you got to be like, wow, we really let everybody down. And honestly, Carnell too. I can't imagine being as suave about that loss as he was in his post-game interview. That kind of ticks me off, I'm not going to lie. Especially because it was kind of like an Eric Ten Hag interview after getting destroyed by Man City. He goes, "We played our game plan well." Carnell said that about the first half. He said, it wasn't that bad. And it's like, dude, what
it
the
was
hell were
3-1
you
at
watching?
the half.
I mean, look, it was bad, but I'm sure the way he looks at it is he's like, bro, they scored 3 bangers. Like,
It's true.
They-
Low chance.
very low
opportunities.
percentage chance opportunities.
that we gave them.
True.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, Gadikinda dribbles through our whole team. Shouldn't be able to do that. And Denbe running free on the backside of the goal. Shouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, but I mean, yeah, they were bangers. They scored bangers, but they also consistently were just bringing us the business.
Yes, lots
it's
of pressure.
Bad when Klaus is playing defense for like 60% of the game.
Yeah.
He was playing defense, and we still couldn't stop the goals. And it's like we're definitely not a defensive team. So if we're not scoring goals and Klaus can't be up top trying to score goals, we're just
Yeah.
not a team anymore then.
Yeah, I was gonna say related to that. This was the first game that I saw Nielsen. This was his worst
Oh,
performance
absolutely.
by far. Like I thought that he was a very, very good center back for every other performance
Yeah.
that he's had. But last night, he was just so bad. Like he couldn't clear the ball. He
Couldn't head the ball.
couldn't
He
head the
couldn't
ball.
do
Couldn't
anything,
pass
man.
the ball.
Couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
I mean, he got it together a little bit by the end of the game,
yeah.
but like Yeah.
It looked like maybe it was too big. The lights were too bright, you know?
And that is not supposed to be
He's
like,
supposed to be a
for
vet.
him.
Yeah.
he was like a Bundesliga player of the year or something like that. Like
Maybe Bundesliga 2.
yeah, something like that. But
Player of the year.
Not player of the year, sorry.
Absolutely not.
That should not be too big of a moment for him. And while I do think he is like far and away our best defender, like
Normally.
technically, I think he's just very sound as a defender. But I don't think how many games have we won with him in the lineup?
They actually, I think the commentator
They said
that.
something about it in the middle of it. They were like, I think they've only won like 2 games. It's
Well, I
like
think he only started playing the past
8 games.
8 games. And
Yes,
we
he
have 2 of
started
them.
7 of them and played in like 1 of them.
But I don't think that that's fair. I think that's
Put Yarrow in at half.
a coincidence, not a correlation.
Ooh,
I don't-
that's some good logic right there. Fallacy.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Fallacy.
Correlation does not equal causation.
I know I'm saying it's a coincidence.
Oh, sorry.
Not a correlation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I would like to say, for as much shit that I talk on Timmy P, I apologize. I was not familiar with your game, my friend, because you were the only one out there with an ounce of fire in you.
Well, he showed his experience for sure. Like he was the number 1 most composed player.
Yes,
Not
I'd
just
agree.
composed, but like,
Yeah, our best
let's
player.
go get this.
Yeah.
Like, and even till the end, I loved it. Yeah, he got a goal and like the whole. That's the other thing. If they're gonna be calling all those fouls, give them some fouls to call.
Yeah,
you know
seriously.
what I mean?
No,
Like,
that's Tim. That is Tim. And like when we went 1-0 down, I like thought instantly in my head, I'm like, Tim's gonna like score a header off a corner. Like that's what's
Good
gonna
finish.
that's what's gonna like bring us back into this game. And whether he's doing it with that Cro-Magnon forehead or his left foot, he is the one that can be relied upon to both like. I don't know if it necessarily motivates the team the way that it should, because he's definitely a voice in that team. I don't know
He's
if
an engine.
the young guys necessarily respond to the way that Tim talks to him that well. I don't know, but he is definitely out there like pushing the players to like get after the ball and like show some more energy.
Yep,
be
he's.
physical.
Yes.
Is he the captain or no? He's
Vice
the co-captain.
captain.
Yeah, with Berkey.
So,
Yeah.
Well, Berkey said something in his post-game interview that was like, yeah, some of the young guys weren't training hard enough in practice leading up to this game, and it really shows. Like, you get what you put in.
he didn't necessarily like
Yeah.
single out the young guys when I listened to it back.
Okay.
He was just like,
It was-
some of like the guys now know that like if you don't have a good week of training, you are not going to have a good game. I believe the phrasing he said, he was like, the game is just the reward for all of the work that you put in during the week,
Kobe.
which is, I thought it was a good quote.
Yeah.
It's a Kobe quote. Well, it's not a Kobe quote, obviously, but Kobe
Barkey.
does make that. He says, I don't even love the game like that. I love the preparation. That's what he says. I love the preparation because once the game comes, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
What Berkey was just pointing out that a lot of, I don't know even know if it was a lot, but some of the players on the team were treating training as though like, I am not going to go all in today because I'm not at my best, but I'll be able to do it tomorrow. And tomorrow, and by the time the game comes, I'll have it figured out. But then the game came,
And he didn't have it figured
They did not
out.
have it figured out at all.
Yeah.
And I love Berkey. I mean, I love Berkey because we just got shit on 4-1, and he was still calling the other team Kansas.
Yeah. And Kansas,
Yeah.
they
He probably doesn't even
they had
know the
some-
difference.
They had some good shots.
Yeah, he was like, they played a good game. Kansas was the better team.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, maybe he didn't do it on purpose, but I would like to think that he did.
I think he probably said more than what the like media training people would probably want him to say, because usually he's pretty like soft spoken and it doesn't say a whole lot. Like he said, he might speak a lot, but he ain't saying much. Like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I had a question for you guys. What do you think Berkey and like Leuven, what do you think they think, and Klaus, what do you think they think of Sexy Red playing throughout the stadium pre-match?
Who cares?
I think they're like, what is this foreign language? They have no idea what that song is or what it means.
Get some hype, or they're like, man, turn this garbage off.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
Shout out St. Louis.
Yeah.
All these
I don't know,
German
man.
Guys.
I think they would rather hear some like clog music or
Yeah.
like some Metallica or something like that.
Kachaka. Yeah.
Clog.
I thought it was hilarious. It's a weird song to use as your
To be blaring as your like
intro
warm up.
song. Yeah.
So
Shout out Sexy Red, I guess.
we're heading into Kansas City.
I think I'm glad Berkey decided to throw the media training to the side a little bit, because
Yeah, you needed to call out the team. That was a horrible performance.
I just think it was just soft, man. Like, that's a soft. Every screw up that you have, you get the opportunity to make up for it, and that's not like over time. Like, you know, I mean, it'll eventually come where you get the opportunity. No, it's literally the next. It's the next thing.
You gotta
Any given
make-
Sunday.
The next
Right away.
step, the next tackle, the next pass. Like, you have to set the precedent every single time you do anything, because it's not, you know, it's all of these parts put together, and it's just nobody, like literally nobody, except Tim Parker, I guess, looked like they wanted to make it. Somebody needed to step up.
I mean, let's not just say everybody was shit besides Tim Parker. Tim, like, we got 4 goals put past us.
Yeah.
Tim didn't have a great game, but
No.
Tim still tried to have a great game.
Tim still
He scored our
got
only
his
goal.
headers, you know.
Yes, one is aerial duels.
One is aerial duels, which for some reason just could not get done at all. I mean, honestly, that was like half the battle. Like, literally,
Yeah, when they
just-
played the long balls from like goal kicks,
which
that
usually
resulted in
we
a goal.
We got tall dudes on our team. Like, usually,
Oh, and they like
we got tall, strong dudes that are imposing physical.
yeah. If they're
people.
not gonna get the ball, they're gonna hit you
Yeah,
hard, and that's like what we do every time. It's like
and we
Tim, Hebert.
And he had that
Needs
goal
don't
to
line.
talk to me about.
We didn't
Hebert.
even talk about his goal line clearance that he had.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, definitely best performance.
Best
I think
performer.
that the way that the ref decided to call the game kind of took us out of our element as well, because we didn't really know what like. There wasn't consistency. We didn't know what we could get away with. We didn't know what the precedent was. Like, the ref like somehow didn't take control of the game, but also dominated the game. It was
Yeah.
weird. And he also let KC waste time every single time they had the opportunity. The first
And then
half,
only put on
1 minute.
in the first half. Yeah,
what was that?
when 4 goals got scored in the first half,
and
That
there
is
were
crazy.
fouls. I
like
mean,
all over the place. There was a
1
VAR
minute?
check.
What is
there
that?
Was,
That makes no sense. I didn't even notice that.
yeah, there was 1 minute. And like, look, when you're down 3-1, 4-1 at the end of the game, sure, like we're probably not coming back.
But
you
at
can
half?
but at half, like I'm pretty sure there's statistics out there that show that like the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of each half are where like 90% of the goals get scored. That's where you create and lose all of the momentum in the game. And if we could have gotten another one before half to make it like 3-2, it could have been a totally different game.
Agreed.
We didn't look like we were going to score another goal in that game at any point, except for literally the 92nd minute when Klaus could have had one. But
Yep.
I thought that was questionable. And then in terms of other refereeing decisions, there was Gary Kinda got the yellow for like throwing the ball because he was all pissed off that a call didn't go his way. Got a yellow for it. And then takes Vasilev's legs out from under him
Like 10
Like,
and
minutes later.
screams
Yes.
at the ref.
and screams at the ref and doesn't get a yellow.
Yeah.
And then Vasilev doesn't get a yellow for it, but like the softest foul in the world, and Dembe literally like tries to dribble and like just loses the ball and then runs into Vasilev. Vasilev just kind of like muscles him out of the way and starts going up the field on like a fast break opportunity, and they call it back. It's like
There's so many more instances we
Yeah,
could
yeah. I mean,
that's just
there
one
were
of the ones
so
that
many
stuck out
times
to me.
where the KC players literally just slipped and fell,
Yeah.
and they got the call, or the KC player was like hooking the defender behind them and just like pushing them back, and then would just like bring
Fall on
them
them?
down
Yeah.
with them and would just get the call. It was like, I'm telling you, like any time, any moment that the fans got to start chanting again, doing anything again other than being starkly aware of how shit we were, it was another call. It was terrible. Terrible refereeing. The MLS needs to get their shit together. Apple, you need to get your shit together too, because I don't understand how you can be worth that much money and have the worst angles of any soccer game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
How is your only angle of inside the box like 200 feet above the box? What the fuck is that?
We don't need to beat the dead horse of bad refereeing.
Nah,
And
screw that dead horse.
I'm beating the shit out of that dead horse.
that horse is definitely dead. So is a very much a live horse that we need to tame and bring home to St. Louis after a weekend in Kansas City.
You
So-
want to know something depressing about this upcoming game?
What's depressing about this
No.
upcoming game?
They didn't even play Johnny Russell this past game.
That's true, but
I don't give a
Shallowy
shit.
ain't far off Johnny Russell.
Well,
I
who-
know what
who
people
was it
may
on the
think
right?
of Johnny Russell. Oh, on the right?
Yeah, it was Shelton.
Yeah, Shelton.
I mean,
And he's the one that like handballed it, and he
Yeah.
probably should have scored one too. I think I remember him having an opportunity.
And Eric Tommy.
Yeah, they didn't play Tommy either. Jesus, we got smoked by like
the B team.
almost the B team.
Polito looked like a god out there.
He didn't look that good. Gotti Kinda looked like a god out there. He ran our midfield all day long. So
Okay, so
to stop us from getting our midfield run by Gotti Kinda, what kind of lineup changes do you guys want to see going into the weekend? And what are your score predictions before we close out?
I would like to see 2 forwards. I would like to go back to the 4-4-2 diamond midfield with
Okay.
2 forwards. I would
Nice.
like Adeniran and Klaus to be our 2 forwards.
Okay.
I think Aziel Jackson, maybe time for the bench.
for Gio.
For Gio, yes.
I
That's
agree.
what I was going to say.
So 3 forwards.
Well, Joa
Cam roll.
yeah, Cameron.
He can get back a little bit.
But I wouldn't be mad if Aziel Jackson.
No, keep cooking because I'm with you.
Okay, then obviously we need Blom, center defensive mid.
Yeah.
The 2 center mids, 8s, if you will, kind of left and right mid. Leuven got to be out there, obviously.
An actual Leuven, not whatever
Yeah, not
guy
the
was out there last night.
Ghost of him
Yeah.
that was on the
The
field.
shell of a man.
And
Yeah.
then I don't even know who to put out there. Like Stroud.
I think your
don't
2
know.
options are Vasilev or Stroud.
What
And
about Celio?
I think I would rather see Celio off the bench.
I would too,
again.
especially on the wing. If
Yeah.
if we're playing more of a 4-4-2, I don't think Celio really fits in the team.
I swear to God, if I turn my TV on for that game and I see Ostrak starting,
Oh, that
I
would
will
be.
turn the
No way.
TV right back
He
on.
There will be riots.
He won't.
At Ballpark Village.
I don't believe.
Well, Vasilev definitely can't start.
I think Stroud starts honestly because I think we want to press. Like that's our MO. We want to high press, and he is the player with the highest work rate in the team. He's going to run. So
Yep.
I think Stroud will probably play in that spot, and then I think we should see somebody else at left back. I don't know who. I don't know if I want to see Johnny Nelson out there, but I probably don't want to see Marcanic
Hebert?
out there.
You want Hebert?
No.
Actually, I think you could play Hebert there if you swap in Akil Watts for Nerwinski and then keep the same center backs.
I'm cool with giving Marcanic
Mm.
another chance.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I am too because the alternatives make me really, really sad.
I mean,
I agree.
we just need to go out there with an all-out attacking mindset.
We need to score
Yeah,
early,
a
bro,
lot of
because we
goals.
do not win games when we don't score early.
This-
if we get scored on first, it's over.
This
like we are
game-
out.
Cannot be close. We need to fucking destroy their goddamn minds like they did to us. It needs to be revenge. I'm sorry. Like this is It just had to be KC, man.
I just want to see some refereeing decisions go our way. That's what I want to see.
Because now we're in KC.
Yeah, but maybe...
Yeah, and
maybe
they'll actually
like,
get a home field advantage, unlike us. So
maybe it'll be reverse. Maybe
I
in the
hope-
playoffs it
Wishful
switches.
thinking. Yeah.
That's very wishful thinking.
I mean, I think Markanich has looked good outside of last night. I don't know.
Score prediction?
You guys both think 4-4-2 diamond?
So
I think so. I think that's the most likely thing, other than maybe Celio getting into the team, and it's just a 4 flat midfield, and then we have
Please God,
Celio and
no.
Stroud.
No, please.
I actually
God, no.
wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
A flat
Flat.
after they dominated our midfield like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The diamond seems to be the way to go.
I mean, we don't play really with width anyways.
They dominated us everywhere, bro. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
just the midfield.
At least Celio will be able to dribble past people.
Most successful dribbles in the league. Or most...
Per 90.
Yes. Most successful dribbler in the league.
Most successful dribbles
dribbles.
per 90 in the league.
I know I'm beating a dead horse, but like
He's going to do it anyway.
The dead horse beater over here.
Yeah, why not play the exact same team that we shit on them at home with? Why not? Why? I just don't get it. Like, even Stroud that night that we shit on them was looking like fucking
Yeah, looking like a king.
De Bruyne out there.
I think the reason why he did that is because we lost the 2 weeks prior to that pretty resoundingly and was just trying to, like, shake things up. Because I think he thinks that the way that we were playing in, like, that Seattle game, he probably recognized that, like, if we play this formation this way against, like, a Seattle later in the playoffs, they're just going to beat us again, like, resoundingly, like they did that time. So he was like, we need to start now and develop some form with, like, a new formation currently before we get that far down the road. But, you know, can't be looking too far into the future, Carnell, because we just got smoked at home.
Gotta focus on the now before we get to the future.
Score predictions.
3-0, City.
Make me smile.
It would make me smile.
I'm not
too.
feeling quite so optimistic as you are.
I think they'll show up and show out. I think that was a wake up call. I think they're going to be out there
I
ready
hope.
to go.
I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be 2-1. We're going to get a penalty in the 15th minute to score, and then we're going to score a second one, but then KC's going to dominate the rest of the game, and they're going to score one, but we're still going to win.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Probably a more realistic. Mine might live
Except
in La La
getting a
Land.
penalty. What? That's not
Yeah, in
realistic.
Kansas City, we don't get those.
I think we've only had 2 penalties all year.
Yeah, that's because the refs hate St. Louis because we're a small market and we don't sell. So
I hate the MLS.
yeah,
I don't even fucking care.
just say some numbers, man.
Last time I did this, I was almost right, but it was the opposite. I predicted 3-1 for last night.
And it was
4-1.
3-1 at half.
Yeah. Dang, should have put some money on it. I think you're right, Ian, and I am not quite so gusto about it. I think if Carnell decides to, I really think Adeniran is the key because he plays with fury in his heart, to be honest, and I love it.
I can't wait for him to have scored 2 goals against Sporting Kansas City, and then he, like, fouls someone, but it's, like, soft, and the ref looks at him, and he's just like, what are you smoking?
Because, like, if
he's
he
got to
didn't-
break that out again, bro.
Yeah.
On just a lighter note to end this off, I love that.
Yeah, me too. You know what? 3-1. Me
All
too.
right.
Whatever.
3-1.
3-1. I think Adeniran gets at least 1, maybe 2.
He should have had 2 last time, and I think he'll just run rampant on their defense again.
Man,
do
if he
too.
doesn't start, I'm going to be so depressed.
If all 3 of them don't start, like, there's no reason. This
No,
is
no,
a
no, no,
do
no,
or
no,
I
no,
die
think 2
game.
will likely
I
start.
think there's some benefit to keeping one on the bench just for fresh legs in the second half. Because if we have all 3 and they're all dead, like they've been pressing so hard in the 60th minute, everyone's dead. what are we gonna do? Put Celio up top? Like, I don't want that.
Shit, I'll take it.
Yeah,
if we're up 3-0.
4 in the first half, man. Gio gets a couple assists.
Yeah.
Joa, Jesus Christ.
Joa.
dude.
Yeah, we got to say his name right.
Um,
Anything else, boys?
I still believe it's a very small part of me, but
I
it is
believe
there.
that we will win.
Like, and that I know that's true for all the fans because at no point last night, at least until like the 90th minute, did everybody know that we were going to lose. Because one goal could have changed that whole game at any point.
It should have when Tim Parker scored. But
When you're watching City, you're just waiting for the fire
the floodgates
to
to
get
open.
lit. And when it doesn't happen, it's just like, what the fuck? Should have stayed my ass at home.
Cold ass.
My dad's first game. Shout out Rob.
Rob, don't go to any more games. Sorry.
Doesn't like sports. You know?
Not a big
I'm
sports
sorry.
fan, sports ball guy.
I apologize, Father, because I know you're listening. Thanks for listening, and sorry about that. So
Yeah. Well,
you can never
thank
go
you
to
all
another game again.
for tuning in to another episode of Soul of the City. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the game in the comments, please. And we'll see you after we beat them on Sunday. Peace. Thank you for watching this episode of Soul of the City, brought to you by First Touch Media and Anchor FM. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thank you for watching.